It was a warm summer day, which to Discord seemed absolutely wrong. He wanted the weather Pegasi to pull every storm cloud and let it rain and lightning tear apart the world. If he hadn't promised her that he'd behave, he would have done it himself. Outside of the myriad of butterflies surrounding the tiny house at the edge of everfree forest, slowly circling as if their wings were weighing down, a gentle breeze blew across the leaves of the trees and the trees full of birds, silent and looking down on the ground, warmed by a golden summer sun, were gathered squirrels, beavers, rabbits, bears, and all other manner of creatures. All had gathered and were all silent. "I don't want you to go," Discord said, and his ancient yellow pony lying on the bed. He sat near her, and an old faded blue ring cleaner she had bought for him to keep him at home, so that he would always have a place to go there and feel welcome. He didn't know what feeling of welcome was to meet her. "It's all right. It's just my time," the yellow pony said slowly. Her hair still had wisps of pink here and there, but it was mostly gray and thinning. The wrinkles on her face were deep, but couldn't cover up the delicate nature of the high cheekbones or the brightness of her eyes. Each breath she took was heavy and rasped in and out slowly, as if she willed to do breathe throughout her lungs. Yet somehow she didn't look sad, scared, or any of those things one would expect. "I don't have to let you go, you know. I can make you young again. I can keep you here. Just let me," he begged, as tears rolled down his cheeks and collected in his beard. "Discord," the old pony said. "Sweetie, it's okay. It's time to let me go." "But it's not fair," the Chunk Conquest said. "I am the master of chaos. Why do I have to let you go?" "Because there are order to things," Fluttershy said, then closed her eyes for a moment. Her breath was so shallow, not even Discord constrained to hear it. "I hate order," Discord said, sounding like a spoiled child, than an ancient force of chaos. "I know, sweetie," the yellow pony said, "but sometimes we have to deal with things we don't like." Fluttershy slowly lifted her hoof from her chest and reached out to hold Discord's hand. She smiled and tried to comfort her old friend. "Do you remember when you made my house float up into the sky and spin around and around?" she asked. "Yeah," Discord said, while trying to fight back a smile. "Those were good times." "Good times?" she said playfully. "I still don't have all the cracks in the walls and the ceiling patched up." He started to laugh. "That's what I said. Good times." They all laughed for a moment, but a spasm of coughs cut the moment short. "Are you okay?" Discord asked. "Is there anything I can get you? Tea?" After Fluttershy took a few deep breaths and had her lungs back under control, she smiled again and looked up at Discord with a sweet gentleness in her eyes. "Yes, please," she said, quietly. "I think that would be just wonderful." "You just wait right here," he said, as he got up from his chair and started towards the kitchen. "I'll make it just the way you like it. No magic, I promise. With real water and leaves." "Thank you," she said, as he left the bedroom and headed for the kitchen. He fumbled with the teapot, dropping it several times. He found the tea in the bottom of the cupboard behind several bags of critter food, and just used the tiniest bit of magic to get the fire in the stove burning. He waited for the teapot to whistle and thought about the years spent in Ponyville. Since he had been released from Stone for the second time, he loved Nightmare Night, and it was just the most fun out of all the pony holidays. So much mischief, and ponies loved him for it. Even Princess Luna got in on a few pranks. Of course, ever the princesses never did want to join in on these things. Too much of a stick in the mud. Pretty ironic for a goddess in charge of the sun. He was then pulled out of his reverse of series of loud knocks at the door, and quickly made his way into the front of the room to answer it. "Oh," he said. He looked at the pastel rainbow-maned alicorn standing outside. "I see you finally decided to come for a visit. You sure you have time?" he asked, with bitter spite dripping from his words. "We both come," Celestia replied calmly, and stepped inside, revealing the 6-foot-tall purple dragon standing behind her and waiting for all to come in as well. "Hello, Spike. It's always good to see you. Come in," Discord said, as he stepped aside to allow Princess Celestia and the dragon to enter. Spike had grown up a little different than normal dragons, slower and without greed, spearing out from the growth forward. He had grown into a tail, but of course, lantern-jawed and honorable fellow, through that he still aged, it was still slower than the ponies around him. And he looked young and healthy, despite all the years that had passed since he was a baby dragon. Discord had met decades before. "How is she?" Spike asked right away. "Not good," Discord said. "I'm making her tea." He ran back to the kitchen, as the whistling of the teapot reminded him of what he was doing before they showed up. After a few minutes, he came back out to the living room, carrying a tray with a cup of tea, some cookies, and a flower on it. "She's very tired," he said, while giving Celestia a sideways glare, "and needs a rest." "We'll only be here for a little while," Celestia said. "Okay," Discord said, "but if she looks like she's getting too tired, you'll have to go." "Of course," Spike chirped, sensing the stress between Discord and Celestia. "We wouldn't think of keeping her from her rest." They crowded around Fluttershy's tiny bed. She smiled as her eyes fluttered open. "Hello, everyone." "Oh my, this is a wonderful surprise, isn't it, Discord?" she asked. "Yeah," Discord said, as he added another pillow behind Fluttershy's head to prop her up and place the tray on her lap. "It's always good to see old friends." "How have you been, champ?" Spike asked of the old Pegasus. "If it weren't for Discord, I don't know what I'll do," Fluttershy replied. "He's been taking care of the critters for me all this time." "That's great," Spike said. He choked back some tears and tried to keep a brave face. "Oh," Fluttershy whispered, as she put her hoof on the dragon's arm and waved around him to force him to come closer. "Don't worry about crying. You could just go ahead and do it." "I'm not crying," Spike said. "Okay, I am crying." The dragon wrapped his arms around his old friend and hugged her for what he was sure to be the last time. She whispered and comforted him. "I'm going to wait outside," he said. When he finally let her go, Fluttershy gave him a knowing nod. "Are you just going to stand here and stare at her?" Discord asked the princess. "Because if that's all you're going to do, you should just leave." "Discord!" Fluttershy chided him. "This is a very hard for the princess." "Oh, I bet it is," he said. And he was going to say more before he noticed the look on Fluttershy's face. "Okay, I'll shut up." After a long moment, Celestia finally spoke. "I have come to say goodbye, and that I will miss you." "Is that all you have to say? Why don't you offer to save her?" Discord exploded with rage. "You heartless!" "Do not begin to think you understand me," Celestia interrupted him. "I am not like my subjects. I have been around for much, much longer, and I will be here long after they are gone, and they have come into my world and leave again so quickly, and the longer I live, the faster they fade away. I have seen towns, cities, and nations spring up and crumble away. I have seen friends grow old and infirm again, and I have lost so many." Celestia took a deep breath and regained her composure. "I'm sorry, Fluttershy. I don't know what came over me. This isn't the time or place." Her voice trailed off, and a single tear wound its way from her face to fall to the floor. "It's okay, princess," Fluttershy said softly. "I understand." Silence is painfully pressed against the walls of the room. For a moment later, before Discord finally spoke. I'm sorry too, Princess. It's all right, Celestia said softly. Princess, Fluttershy spoke up, could you leave Discord and I alone for a little while? Celestia looked back and forth between the Draconiquest and the old pony for a moment, before nodding silently, leaving the room. I've got to go soon, she said softly, and I would like you to hold my hoof, please. I could still make you young again, young forever, he said. He sat down on his blue chair, wrapped his fingers around her hoof. Just sit with me, she said, and be my friend. Tell me a story. Okay, he said. He tried to think of a story. Once upon a time, there was a very lonely creature that no one understood, no one that trusted, and that never had a friend. But one day, a beautiful maiden rescued him from all the bitterness and anger and pain that he didn't even know he was in. She brought him into her home and trusted him even though he shouldn't have been trusted. She was his friend, and when he didn't even know what a friend was, she was the best thing in the whole world, and he is going to miss her. As he finished his story and dried his tears, leaned down and laid his head on her shoulder. That was a lovely story, sweetie. Be good, she said as she let go of her last breath, and her body went limp. Goodbye, Fluttershy. And that, my little pretties, was Discord at Death's Bed. Goodbye, Fluttershy. A My Little Pony Feels Pasta written by PaleLordHaephis. My final thoughts on the story. Alright, I just want to say right now, the title would be very long if I put Discord, My Little Pony, Discord at Death's Bed, Goodbye Fluttershy by PaleLordHaephis plus review. So I'm just gonna leave it as My Little Pony, Goodbye Fluttershy. Yeah, so I just kind of, because the title would be kind of long for YouTube, but they don't allow, long titles longer than like 100 words. But yet again, let me get back to the story. This story was honestly pretty depressing in a sort of way. I know this is more of a feels pasta from what I can see personally, because this is basically a fan fiction of basically Fluttershy was very old and she ends up passing away due to old age. Well, meanwhile, Discord wants her to, be better in that. It just isn't working no matter how hard he tried. So, yeah. So, I heard of this story from Matty Dragonfire, and he read this story like 8 years ago. I remember coming across this story a few days ago, well, years ago or something. It's still a sad story. I mean, I'd seen a couple narrations of it, and I would have to say this story was honestly pretty sad, seeing the fact that, Discord lost somebody who cared for him. And by the way, the Discord and Fluttershy shipping is pretty canon in My Little Pony. So this story was written sometime in 2013. And I mean, this is like almost a 10-year-old story. I mean, it's a well-made story for how this one is. So, yeah, I mean, I've never actually heard of this story, Ray, until I started watching My Little Pony. I believe in 2015 or 2016, I must have came across this story at one point. But yet again, I mean, I don't remember much. So, yeah. Like I said, this story was pretty depressing. Seeing how, Fluttershy, dying, basically. But it's not like a painful death or, her getting her guts ripped open or anything. No, 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 no. Nothing shocking. Just like, how people get old and they die. I mean, we're all gonna die of old age eventually unless we die prematurely. But, I mean, we all die when we get to a certain age. Like, we're not gonna live forever. Like, I'm not gonna lie, we're not gonna live forever. We're not gonna live like to be 400 years old. But like I said before, this was pretty depressing, but I still found it really enjoyable, both for for a feels pasta, and that's what I feel that this is a feels pasta. But yeah, I mean, I haven't read this story in a while. I did read this story at one point, but I wasn't into creepypasta narrations back then until when I met the Shatter Eater. Now, I know it's been a while since I did a My Little Pony fan fiction. Or story. I don't remember. I think the last one might have been a creepypasta written by Lycans Are God's Gift to Furries or something. Or Madrvrov or something. I can't remember. It's been quite a while, y'all. So, yeah. But anyways, I mean, the author of the story did a great job with, how this subject matter relating to, losing a loved one. I mean, I know there's other stories that managed to cover this really well too, but this one I have to say was well done. So, I gotta say right now, the grammar of this story is really good, as well as the sentence structuring and basically how the story is structured to make it easy to read and stuff. Really good. I mean, even though this one's like almost 10 years old, I still find this story to be, a rather good one. But yeah, I haven't did a My Little Pony story in a while, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to read this one. So it's a bit of a nice change. So, anyways, like I'm going to say, this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to these feels pastas or fan fictions. You could call this one a fan fiction. You could call this one a feels pasta. Whatever is you guys feel. So, like I'm gonna say, like I said, it's just your opinion. You're feel free to state your own opinions in the comments below. Anyways, this story is a 10 out of 10. Awesome story. A depressing one, but it's still a good story. And it's been a while since I did a My Little Pony story, so I thought, you know what, I'll do a My Little Pony story. So, with that being said, what did you guys think about this story? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Just feel free to leave me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're new to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications to when I upload. And as always, please roll the outro because I'm out.